Hello and welcome to Blackchapel Kitchen. Today we are going to be making a pumpkin biryani. Now the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to scoop out your pumpkin, get all the seeds out of there. Now you're also going to want to, at this point, heat your oven to 210 degrees Celsius. And then after that, if you just oil the inside of your pumpkin and just be quite generous with it here, and also oil the top of the pumpkin as well. Now you're going to want to get them both together as well as you can, depending on how well you've cut it there. And you're then going to want to go and get something you're going to be able to take it out of the oven on. This is going to be quite heavy when you take it out, so make sure it's something sturdy. And put that in the oven there for 45 minutes. Now the spices I have today is some garam masala, some fenugreek, turmeric, chili powder, cumin, and then also do have bay leaf as well. And I do have a few cardamom pods I've already cracked. The reason why I have these and not the curry paste is because I did not have any in the house that day. But equally wise, you can use either. Also, then you're going to want a stick of cinnamon, a knob of ginger, and you're also going to want some garlic as well as your onions. And this is going to be your spice base for your biryani that we're going to be making. Now we're going to want to take a little oil in a pan and sweat our onions for 5 minutes until they have softened. And you really do take your time with this. Don't rush this. You don't want them burned. You do just want them softened. Now I've grated my ginger and my garlic. You don't have to. This does mean you don't get any lumps at the end, but do feel free just to chop up either. You're going to want to then return that and continue cooking that for 2 minutes on 2 minutes the hob on a medium heat. Now after this time, after the onions have been sweated down and the garlic and the onion have been sweated down, do put in all your spices. Apart from your cardamom, which I've put in incorrectly, so I'm going to need to then go and very carefully go and fish that out. So now having fished them out, return them to heat, add a little bit more extra oil if you do need, and cook for 2 minutes to release all those lovely smells from all the spices there. And very much do now just set this aside till later on. Now in another pan we are going to then want to cook our rice. Now there's two things that we really want to be careful of about the rice. First thing is to make sure they've washed enough to get rid of any dirt that may still be in the rice, and secondly we do want to be very careful as well of not adding too much water to the rice. On the recipe it will tell you to parboil the rice for 10 minutes. However, I do have a slightly different technique that I do like to use myself, and that is by weighing by difference how much water you're putting into your rice when you are washing your rice. So essentially we want to do a 1-to-2 ratio of rice to water. So for example, if you have added in 200 grams of rice, you're going to want to have 400 grams of water. Now what you can do here is take your scales and when you put your pot on it and your rice, get that set to 0, and then go back and forth 3 times, adding water to the rice, then removing the water from the rice to wash it. And this does take time, and you do need to make sure your scale does not go off. But by doing this, you're going to make sure you don't add too much water. One of the hardest things about cooking a biryani in a pumpkin is actually that depending on your pumpkin, it may still be quite moist on the inside as well. So that extra moisture may make your biryani a little bit too wet. So then here we are, I'm just adding extra stock. I'm just adding in the stock up to the 400 ml, 400 grams. And we are then going to take that, we're going to parboil that for 10 minutes. Now it's time to talk about the chicken for biryani. And personally I use chicken thighs. They've got lots of flavour, they've got a little bit of fat there as well, and you really do want to cut them up small, otherwise you risk the chicken not being fully cooked through in the biryani. And it's also going to mean you're going to get a bit of chicken in every bite. So now bringing back the star of the show, our pumpkin. Now depending on your pumpkin, you might need to give an extra 15 minutes in the oven. but it should come out looking partially cooked, and you should be able to scrape some of the cooked flesh from the inside of the pumpkin. Now you're not wanting to take all the flesh, or otherwise your pumpkin is going to fall apart, but you can just go in with a knife there gently, perhaps when it's a little bit cooler than when I did it, and start taking out some of that flesh there. Now the flesh that we do take from the pumpkin here, we are going to put into the biryani mix. So you do have that going throughout the biryani. But obviously when you are serving this as well, with it having cooked in there, having the biryani cooked inside, a lot more of the flesh is going to soften, and you're not going to be worrying so much about it falling apart, so you can, as you serve it, scrape out more of the pumpkin flesh as well. And now it's time to start assembling our mix for going into the pumpkin. So we do have our rice, we do have our spice and onion mixture. Just give that a good mix all together, and just make sure that it is really well combined. We also then want to add in some of our pumpkin as well, and just give that a good stir there and help break up as you go along there as well. And then you're also then going to want to take your chicken and mix that well too. So very much everything that you do have is mixed together, and then every spoonful you take out of your pumpkin, you're going to be getting some of that pumpkin, some of that rice, and some of that chicken. And now it's just time to stuff your pumpkin with your biryani mixture, and just fit in there as much as you can. Now if you can't get it all in, then just get a separate pan that you can put into the oven and that has a lid, and just put in about a few tablespoons of water with it as well, and put that into the oven and cook it for the same time as the biryani. And now it's just time to put that back in the oven at 210 degrees for 45 minutes. And don't forget to put your cinnamon stick right in the middle of your mixture as well. And 45 minutes at the end of this rather long recipe, thank you for sticking with me. We can then take our biryani out of the oven. At this point it was very, very heavy, but it did just smell lovely. And as you can see here, taking off the lid, lovely steaming inside. You can see a bit of everything there, and just the aromas of all the spices and all the cinnamon just were swirling around the room at this point. Now we just give this a 5 to 10 minutes just to rest before you do serve it, just because it is going to be so warm on the inside. But definitely this is one to give a try, and yeah, we'll use up your leftover pumpkins from Halloween. Thank you.